It's that time of year again. It's less than 30 days away from the Alaska Return of the Kenai trip. Today, I'm going to go over everything that I've done to the bike in preparation for this trip. I'm going to talk about my route, and I'm going to show you on a map what my intended route is. Stick around. So last year, I made the mistake of going with 3 people in a car, and that was just not a good situation. If you've watched any of my previous videos from last year, you'll know. I'll link it down below. But this year, I'm going solo, and that pleases me a lot. And what I've done some changes to this bike from last year. I want to talk about them a little bit. I'm going to go over the route that I'm taking and talk about the ferry ride a little bit. That's going to be really cool. So let's start with the bike, and I'm going to talk about some of the mods that I've kind of changed since last year and some that I'm keeping the same and why I'm keeping the same. So here we go. So first thing would be the Hepco and Becker handguards that I've installed. I installed them last year. And I have this on my KTM as well. I really like these. I had them on a previous Africa Twin. They did great. And so if I do drop the bike this year, which I did not have any hand protection other than these cheap plastic things, I'll be prepared and I won't lose a lever. So happy about that. And I'm still rocking the SW Motec crossbars. And they were great last year. If you saw my last year's video, you remember that some of my friends decided to go down a dirt road and the bike tipped over and hit the crash bar, you know, and left a couple marks, whatever. It didn't damage the bike, thankfully. So I'm going to rock those again. And same with the skid plate. I'm just going with the stock skid plate. What I've done is I've spray painted it, primed it, spray painted it. Once a year, I'll just take it off. It looks nice in black. I kind of like the black color, matches the bars. It looks much better than that silver color. It did get quite dinged up from last year. So yeah, I'm just gonna rock the stock skid plate. I've tossed around the idea of getting an aftermarket, but really it did the job. I did the Dalton last year. It was fine. So I don't think I'm going to do anything tougher than the Dalton this year. So if we go around to the tires here, I'm going to stay with the Motaz GPS Tractionator tires. In my mind, the best 50/50 tire, long distance. Out there, you're doing a lot of miles, and I think it's important to have a tire that's going to last. Now, I could have, you know, rolled with the old tires I had on here for a few more thousand. I just didn't want to be in Alaska looking for tires. So especially, you know, the right fit, and I like these tires. So I went ahead and changed them anyways. So I got fresh rubber on this. I should get at least 10,000. I had 8,000 on my last set, and I had at least 2,000 or 3,000 left on them. I think these are the tires for me for this bike for the foreseeable future. I really, really like them. So over here, still have the WRS Capanord windshield. Love this. Just put this on the Transalp. Really, really good coverage. So let's talk about some changes I made to the dash area. So last year, I had the GPS in the 12-volt receptacle, and I had some issues with the GPS cutting out. I never really had issues with that before, but I did this year. So I decided to kind of get this GPS mount up here above the screen and mount the GPS up here. It's also now hardwired into the 12-volt socket. So that's going to be way, way, way better than last year when it kept cutting out, especially over the bumps. We just cut out for a second and then it would restart, then it would restart. And it was just kind of a pain. So that's something that I'm going to be doing. I'm really like the location of the GPS up here, up top. So I'm happy about that. I put these highway pegs on. These were actually super cheap. I got them off eBay, and they're way better than what I had on there last year. What I had on there last year was just really, really cheap, and they were too big. And these actually fit the SW Motec bars, which are a little bit thinner through here. So I'm really happy about having that as a highway peg, because when you're doing those big miles, just stretching your legs out really, really makes a difference. Yes, you can stand up too, and that's cool. But I like just kind of sometimes just stretching my legs out. So I put the highway pegs on there. Still have the tank pads on here. These have been great. Have the pegs have been really, really great as well. And I'm kind of rocking. I'm really happy with the Touratech Zega Pro cases. I've had these for at least a decade, and these things have been great. And last year I did the soft bags. I knew I was going to be doing a lot of dirt on the Dalton. So this year I'm just going to do the hard bags. It gives me a little bit more storage. I'm going to put some liners in here. I have some old BMW liners from my GS that I used to have. And these are really, really great. I mean, they're super easy to open, have a lot of space in them, and they lock, which is also important, right? If you have any valuables in there, I am going to take my laptop so I can edit some video along the way, so I can get some episodes for you guys to see. So it's going to be really great having a big box that's metal, that's lockable, so I don't have to worry about something getting stolen. Going with the Zega Pro top box as well. These things are really expensive, but they are so worth it, I think. Like I said, I've had these for about a decade. Really, really like them. And I do like those Moscow soft bags, of course, but I think for this trip, from my intended purpose, I think I'm going to rock just the Zega Pros, unlike last year when I took the Moscow soft bags. As far as the seat, I'm going to go with the Corbin seat again. I've had this probably for about 5 years now. It is a noticeable upgrade from stock. It's firmer, but I think over long distances is better. And the way the seat is kind of cupped also is different. And I might have to have something on the rear here, like a little duffel bag or something like that. And you can strap that down. Something down back here makes it pretty easy to do that. And this is a really nice solo section here. I just really enjoy this seat. It's it's pretty heavy, but I do think it's worth it. I mean, this is a heavy bike in general. So definitely for a long ride like this, I think the Corbin is the way to go. Let's talk about the rock straps a little bit. And this, you don't hear a lot about the straps and what you do. These rock straps are so great. I mean, obviously you can tie them here on both sides of the case. You can have a backpack. You can strap a backpack down on top. They're really, really awesome. I really, really enjoy these rock straps. I have some green ones that I bought, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. Eventually they're going to wear out, but they do last quite a while, and they're really, really great to have. Still have the same foot pegs. These are the Zeta Pro aluminums. These are really, really great. Z-E-T-A, Zeta. Really, really great. I think they're about 130 bucks. But really, really enjoy these foot pegs. They were great on the Dalton last year, great for the whole trip last year. There really wasn't anything about the bike that didn't work well last year. And that's always something you want to say after a long trip. It's got a 6.5 gallon tank, so it's plenty of range, which I love. And the only thing, like I talked about earlier, that wasn't working was the GPS, and that's really not part of the bike anyway. So I've remedied that with this mount up here, and so that should be good. I did have it do the 8,000 mile service at the dealer, so it's already had that. It's got about 8,900 miles on it right now. So I fully expect to do between 7,000 and 8,000 miles this year, even though I am taking the ferry from Bellingham all the way up to Haines. That's a long ride back from Alaska, and I'm going to tool around southern Alaska for a while, since I've already been up to Fairbanks and the Arctic Circle last year, and all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. So I want to hit everything else that I can, and then next year I'll think of something else. But I think I can check Alaska off the list after this year. But I'm really excited to do the areas I didn't do. So I think this is a good time to talk about the route that I'm going to take. So I'm going to start obviously here in northern Arizona, Flagstaff area, and I'm going to head up to southern Utah. I'm going to go right by the Vermilion Cliffs and going to go cut across over to Nevada, avoid Salt Lake. I do not like going through Salt Lake at all. So I'm going to cut left and head west right around Beaver, Utah, go over to Ely, Nevada. That's where I might spend my first night. We'll just see how the first day goes. And then I'm going to go up, straight up, and then go through Boise. Might spend another night there. We'll see. And then kind of head, northwest from there. I want to avoid Seattle as well. So that's why I'm going to take a turn to cut around Seattle, because I really don't want to mess with Seattle if I don't have to. And then I'm going to head to Bellingham. I have to be in Bellingham on a Friday by 6 o'clock. I leave here Monday, June 8th. So I guess what is that? The 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. I have to be in Bellingham at 6 p.m. And then I'll arrive in Alaska Tuesday morning at like 8 a.m. on the ferry. And that's I'll start my Alaska journey. And then from there, I plan to go over to Denali, right through Haines Junction on the way to Denali. I have a friend that's hoping to get me a room for a couple of nights in Denali, do some hikes there. From there, it's going to be straight down through Anchorage and down to Homer and the Kenai. So I want to hang out in Homer for a couple of nights. I want to mess around the Kenai, Seward. I want to get to Valdez and some other places. There's a wildlife refuge somewhere over there. So that's going to be a little bit play it by ear kind of thing. But that's basically what I'm going to be doing. And I don't like to plan too much. I like to leave it open as much as I can. And so we'll just see how that goes. But I'm really excited for this, as we're less than 30 days out now. And so we'll just see how it goes. So that's basically my route. A couple things I want to talk about is stay tuned for an upcoming video. I'm going to go over all the gear that I'm taking on this Alaska trip. Kind of have a lay it out here. Lots of camera stuff this year. Taking a 360 camera. Thinking about the Neo 2, the drone. It's just more batteries. It's just more stuff. I mean, it's pretty small, and I could probably fit in my tank bag. But we'll just see on that. So stay tuned for a video around that. I am going to have a video upcoming about the Transalp versus the KTM 790. So stay tuned. I'm hoping to get that out. And I have some products to review. I've got some things that some company have sent me to review. So I've got a busy few weeks before I take off. And hopefully I'm going to get out some good content for you guys. Also have a live stream on May 26th at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. Hope you join that. And always remember to blaze your own path. We'll see you soon.